Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross from PTCGRadio, and I'm back with another game I played on PTCGO, the official online program of the Pokemon trading card game. And as I've recently given you a lot of videos about Seismitoad, and quite frankly, not a huge amount else, I thought I would bring in a different kind of deck for you today. And I am going to be showing you a Lugia-based deck. Now, I've said on the podcast in recent weeks that although the traditional plasma with your Kyurem and all of that has taken a hit due to the loss of both Blend Energy and Prism Energy, the Lugia-based plasma has not been hit quite so hard. You still do feel the loss of those special energies, and that's a bit of a pain, but you can focus it around Lugia and it might not be the end of the world. Now, I get to go first here, and I start with a Lugia, and I start with a Deoxys, which is quite nice. So I'm going to pop the Lugia active, and I'll pop the Deoxys on the bench to get myself going. Now, I'm not going to do a deck breakdown of this yet, because it's very much a work in progress. But one of the things I will tell you is, I've chosen to go for the purely fighting energy route. I am only interested in Psychic Energy and Pokemon that can run off Psychic Energy. So I hit a heads on roller skates, I get my DCE on Lugia, and I get another Deoxys. Then I hit a Tails, but I've hit 1 out of 2, so that's pretty darn fair. I can then play my N, and I don't hit anything of value off the N, so I end my turn, knowing that next turn, all I really need is a Psychic Energy, which I've got in hand, and one of my 4 Colress Machine in order to get Lugia rolling. Now, Landorus does have 180 HP, however, so I am going to need a Muscle Band and all 4 Deoxys on the bench to do anything. Now, my opponent does hit the turn 1 laser. That's to be expected, and it is a slight weakness with these Lugia-based decks, because as you see there, I've got a switch in hand, but that's not really going to do me a huge amount of good. Now, not in this build, but in more recent builds, I've actually gone to running a combination of Switch and Floatstone for that very reason, so that you can switch into a Deoxys and then Floatstone to retreat. Now, my opponent sticks up a Mewtwo. That's a bit of a silly play. Now, he gets the 90, including the poison damage, but I can now switch to a Deoxys, attach a Psychic Energy, and then Juniper, and if I were to hit one of my 4... if I were to hit one of my 4 Colress Machines, I would get the KO. Now, the alternate plan there, and of course I don't hit it, which is somewhat frustrating, but what can you do? These things happen. I have gone through about half my deck. You'll see, though, I've got 33 cards remaining in my deck. You can see that right next to my face. But these things happen. Nothing we can do about it. My opponent's not going to get the KO this turn, and regardless, I can switch anyway. Now, as it happens there, I did actually hit a 3rd Deoxys and a Muscle Band. So one option I would have had I not taken the... had I hit the Colress Machine, I actually could have switched into Lugia and taken 3 prizes off the Mewtwo, rather than just using a Deoxys to take 2 prizes. Because I'd have had 4 energy on a Lugia, and with the Muscle Band and 3 Deoxys, he would have been hitting for 170. It is a lot to invest in one Pokemon, though. And one of the things you have to watch about Lugia-based decks is that you don't put a load of energy on Lugia, have your Lugia knocked out, and then run into an annoying situation where you actually lose all of your energy. And that's one of the reasons I'm playing Chandelure in this deck. I'm running Psychic Energy anyway, and the plan is to just use Chandelure to use Cursed Droplets, putting 4 damage counters wherever you like on your opponent's field, while you build up, 2 Deoxys on the bench, so that if a Deoxys does get killed, it's really not the end of the world. You'll see my opponent has played a Pikachu down, and he's got a full bench, so I am wary that my opponent will be able to play his Pikachu and, get around that. Now, annoyingly here, I don't have a switch, but I do have a Colress Machine. As with all decks in the format, it's one of these things whereby you need to draw right, and it is one of the annoying things about this format at the moment. I've drawn everything I need. Last turn I had switches, but I didn't have Colress Machine. This turn I had Colress Machine, but I don't have switches. So you see here I'm slightly behind the curve. I am playing Crushing Hammer in this version of the deck. I have since removed Crushing Hammer because I don't like flips. I do talk about my luck on these videos probably more than I should, and one of the points I always make is you want to be able to win even where your luck is bad. You'll see here that I'm drawing good stuff, but I'm drawing it at the wrong time. So one of the things I'm really wary about here is I'm actually playing free in this particular build. I don't want to play free Crushing Hammer and just continually hit tails. So I'm wondering what to do. Do I put an energy onto Chandelier and start using Cursed Droplets? Do I put a DCE on Lugia, start building up 2 Lugia and abandon the Chandelier? Or do I put a doubled colourless onto Chandelier and discard it in order to allow me to retreat? Now I do put the DCE onto the Chandelier. Now I actually don't retreat straight away. I play the Colress because if I hit a switch or a scramble switch, I'd be able to preserve the Chandelier. I play scramble switch here because both Chandelier and Deoxys do benefit from things like scramble switch. So I play Helix Force here for 80 damage, a potentially risky play, because if he's got a switch DCE Muscle Band or a switch DCE Laser for his Mewtwo, he gets a KO on my Deoxys. But he does need either the Muscle Band or the Laser, and he's already played a couple of Laser to get the KO. So I'm not terribly worried here that he's going to be able to pull that off. Now, a lot of these fighting decks don't play Colress, although I see that as a mistake. So he's going to computer search here, well, certainly for a supporter. Hopefully he's got a Colress so that he can, and he doesn't have a Colress. Colress for 10 there would have been amazing. And you'll see I've actually drawn fairly nicely off of that. He's now resigned to having to just hit me for that much damage, and that really is not good for him. I hit heads on roller skates. You'll see I've got the scramble switch, and I'm actually going to be able to scramble switch my fresh Lugia with no damage on it. And since he's got some damage on his Landorus, I'm going to be able to take 3 prizes off of said Landorus. Now, what I can do here is actually get 2 Plasma Energy onto my Lugia, meaning I'm going to be able to Lugia the next turn as well. Now if I do that, that is a little bit dodgy in terms of he's got a potential Raichu play next turn, and I don't want him to Raichu and kill my fresh Lugia with a spare Plasma Energy on it already. So I'm going the conservative route, and I think this is the right play here. There is a chance he's going to kill my Lugia regardless by pulling out a Raichu DCE, and he'll need a Muscle Band or a basic Pokemon. So instead, I'm going for the resignation that he's going to be killing my Lugia. So I'm giving him my almost dead Lugia, and I'm just going to resign myself to the fact he's going to kill it. But I've also got a Lugia on the bench with a Muscle Band, with a DCE and a Verbank City. Not a Verbank City, a Plasma Energy. Reason I'm killing the energy off the Lucario here is because I want him to attack with Mewtwo. I need 1 energy on either of my bench Deoxys in order to KO his Mewtwo. So by taking the energy off his Lucario, I'm making the more attractive play for him, attacking with Mewtwo, and I've got a really nice way around that. So I'm going to get the KO with Plasma Gale here. I'm going to pick up 3 prizes, and I'm almost end-proof at this point. I need 1 energy on either a Psychic on either of my Deoxys, or any energy onto my Lugia, and I'm going to be able to get the KO here. Now he does get a tool down onto his Garbodor, and I'm actually not playing Startling Megaphone in this particular list. And the reason is, most Garbodor decks are basically going to be playing either Seismitoad or this Fighting, and I've got a very good matchup with them, either using Chandelier's second attack, which for free energy does Confusion and burn along with 70 damage, or with Deoxys, which is a really, really strong attacker against Mewtwo and against Lucario and against Seismitoad, and a pretty strong attacker against Landorus. So I'm not taking the extra prizes with Lugia here, but I don't really need to be honest with you. I'm going to be able to get the KO on his Pikachu, just using Lugia generally, and then I can just Lysandre up his Mewtwo and get my last 2 prizes. To be honest, the Garbodor coming out here is probably a good thing from my point of view, because I'm not KOing an EX, so I suppose actually no, give him his due. I was thinking that he wasn't going to end me down to 1. What was going to happen there was, if I had any energy, I could retreat and kill the Garbodor, the Landorus for my last 3 prizes. But he's given up. He knows the game's not going anywhere. So as you can see there, Speed Lugia, not perfect, can run a little bit annoyingly at times, but quite good against fighting. And I managed to pull out the win. Stay tuned for more videos, like, subscribe, and all of that good stuff.